Aloha kako! My name is James Hustace and I serve as Hawaii County Council Member for District 9, representing the communities of North and South Kohala. Just want to provide a few new updates since our last chat last week. Last week we had a very busy week with 3 days of council meetings in Hilo. And even amidst that opportunity to find some time to connect with community members is always a plus. And some good conversations regarding our sewer challenges here in the district and our communities, as well as rate changes. Good conversation with community members on the Waimea Stream Trail project, as well as, had a nice opportunity to see a beautiful blessing for the fire department and 2 new trucks for their fleet and particular volunteer stations on the east side of the island. So great to participate in that and see those welcome into the fleet and our volunteer stations. So as I mentioned, last week was a very full committee council week. We had 3 days in Hilo. We're off this week. And then next week we'll be back in Kona for 2 days on June 17th and the 18th. Last week we had some good conversations and a lot of discussion around the general plan meetings and the forthcoming schedule for that. An opportunity for the council to really get into the general plan itself, make changes and amendments and suggestions going forward for that document that's really going to be that vision and that guiding piece of information for our county and planning going forward. We also awarded our VIVI grant recipients and the $2.5 million that the council has as an opportunity to give to community nonprofits and the work that they're doing across the island. And then we also had, very touching and heavy conversations around a change of zone bill here in the Waimea area. We did have some good conversations about how can we bring more affordable housing to that project, as well as methods of limiting density and impacts to the community in that area, as well as improving, the highway frontage by adding pedestrian safety features and sidewalks in that area. But that bill did not go forward and was not approved. We also had some bills and final readings on a telecommunications tower bill, Bill 24, which is establishing procedures and identifies a plan approval application for telecommunication towers going forward. Within that, there are some setback requirements for our residences and our schools. We also had a bill on final reading for short-term vacation rental registration, so Bill 47. This one doesn't go into effect till another 180 days, but there's now an opportunity for all of our short-term vacation rentals to be registered across the county. We also had, coming from District 9, the District 9 office, had some contingency funds move forward for some number of our Kohala programs, and there'll be a few more opportunities and fund requests on next week's council agenda. And then the one I really wanted to highlight is Bill 44. This is one I had an opportunity to co-sponsor with Chair Inaba, and this is really important to me in our communities across the entire island. This is providing parity and tax relief to our homesteading community. So Bill 44 is really looking at our Department of Hawaiian Homeland's property tax, lowering that taxes and providing relief to our homesteading community, and then really aligning with all the other counties. So that was wonderful to move that forward. I'm really happy to see it approved. Really grateful to see what it's going to provide, the benefits to the communities across the island. So thank you for all the testimony provided on all these bills and really taking the time to engage with the council at that level. And then last week, Thursday, beyond our normal committee and council days, we had our second and final reading of the budget. This is our last chance for the council to be engaged with the budget, providing the last amendments before it goes to the mayor. On the operating side of the budget, there were a couple of amendments, and one was a very meaningful discussion about our food security programs and the contracts there. There was kind of a sentiment that the department wasn't able to take on some of that added strain and stress, particularly because they have an obligation to fulfill a lot of the federal grants and federal contracts with the ARPA funds in short time. So have a good need to complete that. And then we also had an increase for some contracts for some of the R&D staff so that they could complete those federal requirements for those ARPA grants. On the capital budget side, had some really strong success for District 9 in providing a number of amendments to the capital budget, from a Waikolo arterial road, a plan and design for that piece for the community, as well as other road improvements in the Waikolo Village area. successfully reappropriated funds for major repairs to the Kohala swimming pool, as well as improvements to the Waimea District Park and kind of future expansion efforts there. We also got some funding on the books for sewer improvements in the Puako area, in the Puako community there, as well as reappropriation of funds for dog parks across the district and reappropriation of funds for the Waimea Stream Trail project. So in entirety, beyond what was already on the mayor's budget, I was able to successfully appropriate just over $19 million in projects for District 9 for the next fiscal year. So some good success there for the district, and appreciate everyone's opportunity and testimony on a number of those items and really showing the community needs in these different areas. So the next step for the budget goes to the mayor's desk and waiting for his approval on that. And as always, I encourage you to submit testimony on any item that comes before council. You're welcome to submit written testimony to the email address counciltestimony@hawaiicounty.gov. And written testimony is always due 12 noon on the business day prior. Then your oral testimony, you can always attend in person at the council chambers or at one of our remote sites. And then you may even request an option to attend virtually by sending an email to councilremotestimony@hawaiicounty.gov to get that Zoom information there. As always, I value your input and your insight on a lot of these things, so thank you for taking the time to submit testimony. As we look at some of the community things that are going on across the district as we come into the summer months, there are some road paving efforts happening. Still some ongoing work at the main intersection in Waimea between Lindsay Road intersection and Lalamilo Farm Road. So some ongoing striping efforts there, last touches on that project there. We're also seeing some paving efforts in Kuhio Village around Kamanava Street and Hale Ali'i Street. So that's between 8 and 2 every day. There are partial lane closures in that area as the road work is completed. And there's also some road work and shoulder maintenance further out on Mana Road if you're out that way. Out on Mamahoa Highway by the Daniel K. Inouye intersection, some ongoing road work, paving and striping efforts there. Up on Kohala Mountain Road, some ongoing tree trimming and shoulder work. And then up in that same area, Pu'uhue Road, there's some paving between 8 and 2 during the day with a complete lane closure as they finish that work in that area. And one thing to note that we have ongoing runway work at Ellison Onizuka Kona International Airport. And this runway rehabilitation is going to be ongoing for quite some time until spring of next year. But this week, starting Wednesday, June 11th, starting at 10 p.m. until 6 a.m. the next morning, there's the airport's going to be closed for major rehabilitation efforts there. And really, HDOT is coordinating with the airlines to minimize any impacts. So just to be aware of that. We also have a number of community events and community meetings going on. The South Kohala Traffic Safety Committee meeting is meeting tomorrow, Tuesday, at 5 o'clock in the Waikoloa Village Association Community Room. On Wednesday, everyone should be up in Kohala for the King Kamehameha Day, the parade, and Ho'olau'olea. The parade kicks off at 9 a.m. and before that is the lei draping from 8 to 9. So parade starts at 9. The roads will be closed in the area in Kapa'au from the park to the statue. And they'll be open up again about 11:30 when everyone can kind of go over to Kamehameha Park for the Ho'olau'olea and celebrations and food trucks and vendors and booths all there at Kamehameha Park and Hisoka Gym. And then that afternoon, there's also some North Kohala CDP. There's the Growth Management Group is meeting at the Old Kohala Courthouse at 5. And the Wildfire Safety Advocates of Waikoloa, they're meeting at the Waikoloa Village Association Community Room at 5:30. Then the North Kohala CDP group on affordable housing, they are going to be instead meeting the next day, Thursday, June 12th at Pomaikai Cafe at 9 o'clock in the morning. This Friday is also the Waimea Family Food Truck at Keck Observatory, kicking off at 4 in the afternoon. This weekend, number of holidays and times to celebrate with family, from Flag Day to Father's Day. There's also the Waikoloa Music Festival, both Saturday and Sunday down at the Queen's Bowl in the afternoon and evening hours there. Also this weekend, there is a 4-H livestock show and sale at Anderson Arena just outside of Waimea. And there's also in Waikoloa Village on the weekend, there's a pet vaccine and microchip clinic at the Waikoloa Stables starting at 10 a.m. in the morning going to the early afternoon. And with that, I'm honored to serve as your council member. Please reach out if you have any questions. You're welcome to email me at james.hustace@hawaiicounty.gov, or you can call our Waimea office at 808-887-6077. And with that, I want to wish you good health. Be well. Aloha.